Hey, we're back in the shop again. This is going to be episode 31 on that Frankenstein lightweight Panther project. And this is the day that I'm going to go into this old Berman gearbox. I'm not sure which model this is. There's different specs on it. It's got G12 on the casting there. There's some other little marks here. Anyway, when I get under here, I'm not, like, there are different models of these, and I'm not 100% sure what this is, but I do know that this is the same model gearbox as my AJS uses, with one small difference, and that is the main shaft. This one has a spline on the end of the main shaft instead of having a taper and a key. But anyway, let's get into this and see what we can find. As you can see, some of these things are different. That is a proper shift lever on there, but that kick lever is actually from a Yamaha, believe it or not. I just machined this out and cut the splines in there to fit the 40 splines on the kick shaft, and that seems to work really well. And actually on my AJS, I have fitted a Honda 750 kickstart to that one. So that works good as well. But the first thing to do, get these off of here. Get the clutch off. Like I said, I know the clutch is good. I've had that apart, cleaned it up and all that sort of stuff. So that's been off once or twice. But I want to get this off here before, because I want to pull the main shaft right out of the transmission, check everything out. So without further ado, let's get the wrenches off and get these levers off of here. Right. Well, I got all the goodies off of there. But what did I find when I took the cover off of here? Well, it's pretty clean inside. Kickstart return spring isn't rusty or anything, which is really good sign. We have a very familiar looking ball and ramp system there for the clutch release mechanism. And over here, we have the ratchet mechanism that turns the shift drum, which I will show you momentarily. Yes, shift drum. This one has a little shift drum right here. When it rotates, there are slots machined in the shift drum, very much like what you might find on a Japanese gearbox, for example, but these rods are what actually holds the shift forks inside and move the gears back and forth. But it's a very, very similar sort of an idea. You can see a lot of different manufacturers, I think, took some of their ideas from the Berman gearbox. I mean, you know, and Berman probably took some of their ideas from other people, Sturmey Archer maybe, or something like that. But in any case, this hole right here where the long screw goes through is stripped on the inside. So when I get this inner cover off, I'm going to have to probably heli coil that one in there so I can repair that. Meanwhile, I will bend back the tabs on this the main shaft gear right here, or main shaft I should say, and take the primary pinion out of there, and that's really kind of Triumph BSA-ish looking. But anyway, like I say, we'll get this off of here, take that off, and it looks like it's in really nice shape. I can see the bearing in there behind it too, and that's in nice condition. So this is all making me feel good about this gearbox. I don't think there's an awful lot I'm going to have to do to this, because I think it's probably pretty low mileage. So next thing to do, get this off, get the kickstart pinion out of there, and then I will remove this cover. Well, all I did was wipe that out with a rag after removing that inner cover. And here is the inner cover, right here. And the whole gearbox, which I like to see, is a plug and play unit. You just plug the whole thing right into the guts of the gearbox and you're ready to go. So anyway, I've been looking at the gears. The little engagement dogs, they all look pretty good. This one's here are for first gear. That's second. This is third and that's fourth. I'm not too impressed with the way those little dogs look on this particular gear. I'm going to have to back grind these dogs a little bit to make sure they don't slip out of fourth gear. That's pretty easy to do. I'll just use my Dremel for that, and I'll show you what I get when I'm finished. But I don't want to grind them too much at the same time because they are just little small dogs. You don't want to completely make them so small that they're going to break off. But again, this is a really low power bike, so I'm not too worried about it hurting a transmission that could easily handle a 650 engine. So anyway, it's time to go in the house and get cleaned up, so I'll do a little more on this later on. Okay, well, I've got the gear assembly all put in there, lightly lubed with general purpose grease for now, so I know it's going to have lubrication in the bushings and the bearings before it even turns. So I have the casing all cleaned up, a nice new gasket on there that's dressed with that anaerobic Loctite. So let's see if we can lift up that gear cluster and see if we can get that to slide right in there the way it came right apart. So there's like 3 or 4 shafts you have to try to get all aligned as you're doing this. So it may not be as easy as it was to come apart, but it will go in at some point. All right, let's get the almost there. Almost. Oh, having a hard time getting the lay shaft to start into place. Come on, old lay shaft. Get in that bushing over there. It might be better if I stood the transmission upright, but no, then the gears would all fall off. So just let me... Some exercise in patience sometimes. And never force anything like this together, because if you do, you're probably going to break something. I know what I could do here. There's a plug I can take out right here so I can get at the gears and actually turn them or lift them up if need be. Oh. There we go. I just needed to turn the main shaft a little tiny bit. And there it is. Okay, I just got to get the screws in there now and tighten them all down. And the hard part will be done. So, let me get those screws ready. Okay, well that's that Berman gearbox back together. Going up and down through the gears just like it did before. Quite nicely. And I know that everything's good inside there. We even got the heavy duty folding Yamaha Kickstarter on it. So what is this marked? It's marked GB26 H54. So anyway, I guess I would make it a GB26 Berman gearbox. So anyway, that's ready to go back in the bike. So that'll be next. I'm going to leave the clutch off because it'll make it just that much lighter and easier to deal with. I won't get a lot of time out here this week because I got a very welcome visitor come down from Ontario, my oldest boy. So that's nice to see him and spend some time with him. But I do have a little bit of a peek here and there out in the shop. I really am pleased with the way that small door came out over there. I may add a few more things to it, but this is mostly about reassembling the Frankenstein Panther here. I've got the engine back in. The plates are all painted up nicely, as you can see. I've also added a little cover over the top of this plate. It gives it a little more of a finished look and kind of hides the ugly bits underneath there. But anyway, I've got the clutches hooked back up again, and this, of course, the clutch itself is bolted back on and all adjusted up. And anyway, everything's coming along pretty good. Of course, assembling it is basically just painting everything, making it pretty, and putting it back together. So, you know, other than shortening up a bolt here and there or adding a couple of washers and that sort of thing. But hopefully this is going in for the last time. And take a quick walk around the other side here. The foot pegs, of course, are not fastened in yet. They're part of the assembly that holds the bottom of the transmission and all that stuff. But I got to get the primary chain on the other side and get the throttle back on the handlebar. But anyway, it's coming. Okay, well, as I mentioned, we had our oldest boy down from Ontario for a visit. That was really good to see him. He was here for 4 days. And we had a real nice time. The wife didn't know he was coming. It was a surprise that he and I sort of figured out. We didn't want her to know, so she wouldn't run around the house cleaning the place up like the king was coming or something. But anyway, he's made it back to Ontario all safe and sound, so it was great to see him. Hopefully next time he comes down, he'll bring the grandkids, and that'll be a lot of fun too. So anyway, I've been out here, as you can see, today, fastening a few things on here. I've got the primary chain in behind here is all tensioned correctly, and I've got the cover put on over that. I got the return spring on the brake lever, and the rear chain is on along with that funky chain guard that I made up for it. So that's coming together real nice, and I even managed to fit one of these pancake air filters onto that little Chinese carburetor there. And anyway, all I had to do was stretch the bell mouth a little bit where it goes on over the carb, and then put the clamp on it, tighten it back down, and it seems like it's going to be great. And that fills in a lot of that empty space in there behind the engine, so that's going to look nice in there. And like I say, everything else is in there. The tensioner for the primary chain is all set and tightened down in place, so that should hold everything in place. I think the only thing left to do here right now is just to fasten those foot pegs up in there where they belong. And anyway, it's about time for lunch, so I'm going to head inside and see what I can scare up to eat. Okay, well, that's what I call a highly polished turd. Anyway, the old Frankenstein bike is all back together, at least at the point where I had it before I stripped it down to paint the frame and that sort of thing. So next on the agenda will be to put some color on that gas tank. I think the inside is just as clean as the outside is. I'll double check that. But last thing I did today was fit the exhaust system back on there after I got the seat in place. And I just slipped the tank on there so I could have a look at how that's fitting and everything like that. All right. Now, after all this is said and done, I'm going to have to do up some sort of a rudimentary wiring system on it. Let me get back here so you can get a look at it from this angle. Oh, anyway, yeah, it's coming along pretty good. I think it's going to be a pretty little machine once I get that tank painted. Anybody got any suggestions about the color on that tank? I want to do a two-tone sort of a scheme, but I'm open to just about anything. Got a couple ideas in mind, but anyway, if anybody has any suggestions about how to paint it or what colors to use or whatever, just put it in the comments. I'm going to wrap this up today, so thanks for watching. If you If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and I'll be back next week, and we'll be working on that gas tank then. Thanks for watching.